This is Minecraft. I've seen so many videos online showcasing Minecraft with ultra realistic graphics, so I decided to download a couple of terrain generation mods, as well as mods like Conquest Reforged that add over 14,000 new blocks to the game, with the goal of starting a fresh new Minecraft world and experiencing what it's like to actually play with these mods installed. Alright, welcome back to the Fresh Start Minecraft world. To start off with, I think we're going to do a little bit of work on the tavern here. Oh, I absolutely love resting by the fire. I actually just got back home from work, and I don't know about you guys, but there's nothing quite like coming home after a long day of work, taking a shower, eating your favorite food, and loading into your favorite Minecraft world. So in the previous video, I asked for your dog name suggestions, so I wanted to give a huge shout out to KJ Wiggums and Scamp5000 for the dog name suggestion Soul, and Izzy for the dog name Kubo, which I think is actually super cute. So I think today I want to do a couple of renovations to the tavern here, and this video is going to be a little bit builder focused. Today I really just want to nerd out and really detail the tavern a little bit. So I really love how the tavern looks, but we do need some storage. So I'm thinking we can start making a basement. And I think the perfect entrance for the basement would actually be right by the bar here. So let's cut out these supports and create ourselves a little bit of an entranceway right here. So I want to actually use these limestone spiral stairs that are part of the Believe mod. So I'm a big fan of making underground sections in my bases. Oh yeah, I really like the way that this staircase looks. And for those that are wondering, I have the full mod list in the description, as well as a short video on how to install all of the mods that I have here. So I think having a nice spiral staircase straight off of the bar here is going to be really cool. And to really complete the look, I want to throw in an archway right here. So in order for us to actually have enough room, we're going to have to do a slab just like that, and that'll give us enough room to actually go all the way down here. So I'm not quite sure how big I want to make the basement, so I'm just going to clear out a little bit of space here. Alright, so my goal with the basement here is I want it to run the entire length of the tavern, because not only do I want an entrance in the bar, but I would love to have an entrance on the back side of the tavern here that staircases down into the basement. So we're going to have to actually go up and make ourselves another pickaxe here, but I'm really liking this spiral staircase that we have here, and I will also have to figure out a way to connect this. So the really cool thing with Conquest Reforged is that it adds over 14,000 new blocks to the game. So what we can do is we can take our plain limestone cobble here and throw it into our stone cutter, and as you can see here, it gives us a huge variety of blocks that we can choose from. And this is just a small portion of the total blocks. But I really want to use this cliffstone cobble, because I feel like this would make for a really great bottom layer here. So I'm just going to turn a bunch of cobblestone stacks into cliffstone cobble, and now we can start filling in the basement. So I'm going to start off with the staircase here, and start filling it in with the cliffstone cobble here. And I really like the way this looks. I think changing up the blocks that we're using is really going to help the basement feel a lot more distinct than from the rest of the tavern. And I really wanted to thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all the support on the videos lately. I've been having so much fun on this world, and I'm really glad you guys have been enjoying the show. So my whole approach to building is I really like to start off very basic. I don't really like to decorate until I have a nice baseline for everything. So all we're going to do is outline all of our walls with the cliffstone cobble here. Alright, so as you can see, we got all the walls done. And to quickly clear out the floor, I'm going to use a tool called Diggus Maximus, which is a vein mining mod that lets you choose different shapes to quickly mine out. So as you can see, now we have most of the floor done here. And I think for the floor, I want to go for some sort of wood plank. Maybe dark oak would be really nice. Just so the basement doesn't feel totally stone, it has like a little bit of warmth to it. So I think we're gonna actually go for a spruce floor here. I think this spruce looks really nice. It's a nice coffee color floor. Over here I was trying to experiment with dark oak, but I'm not really happy with how that looks, so I think we're gonna stick with the spruce for now. And the cool thing with Conquest Reforged is that we can actually add some archways in here, which I think will really sell the basement look that we're going for here. So something really cool that Conquest Reforged introduces to Minecraft is actually archways. So what I want to do is take these archways and align up the wall just like this, so that way it gives our basement a nice curved cellar sort of look. As you can see, this looks so much cooler than it just being a long rectangular build down here. Hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, this is just a quick reminder to check if you're subscribed. It only takes 1 second to do so, and I would really appreciate it because I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers. Alrighty, let's get back to the video. And then you may notice there's actually a gap between the ceiling and the archway, as well as the wall and the archway. So a really easy way to fix that gap is if we come up to the stone cutter and we put our cliffstone cobble in here. We can turn this into slabs, and then this we can turn into vertical slabs, just like this. And now back here in the basement, so let's just kind of fill in the floor like this. Now you can see we have a nice gradient from the archway to the ceiling, and we can even go one more block in like this. This gives us a nice arched ceiling, which looks so much better than it being flat. And I love Conquest Reforged for reasons like this because I can really nerd out with how detailed I want things. For me, I absolutely love putting tons and tons of details into my builds. You know, by themselves, the details don't really mean a whole lot, but whenever you step back and look at the whole picture, all the details start adding up. And I think that's when Minecraft really becomes fun for me. So now you can see the roof has a nice, slight little curve to it. So the only downside with cliffstone cobble is we don't have the Gothic archways like we have upstairs with regular cobblestone. So we don't have as sharp of an arch, but I feel like this still looks really good. And now we can do the same thing with the walls, where we take our slabs and just bring out the blocks by 2 like this. So an easy way to think about Conquest Reforged is it's very much like snow in vanilla Minecraft, where you can place everything by layer, and it allows you to build these super detailed builds like this. And some of the parts I was holding the right click down too long, so it has some blocks sticking out, but that's totally fine. I actually kind of like doing that. So with some of these extra blocks that we have, let's just throw these on the wall like this. So then the wall doesn't look flat, it has a nice little texture to it. I think stuff like that goes a long way. So as we can see, it's nighttime outside and the tavern really stands out in the darkness. Because the woods are so vast, to me the tavern really is this oasis in the dark woods here. And I'm still trying to think of a name for the forest, so if you guys have some suggestions for what we can name the woods, leave a comment. And bonus points if you do a little bit of a write-up or maybe add some lore to the woods. If I end up picking your name suggestion, I'll give you a shout out in the next video. So coming to the backside of the tavern here, let's actually start digging down. The reason I kind of want this entrance to be on the other side is because I want to do something a little bit. So it looks like we have some phantoms coming after us, so we're gonna have to actually sleep for the night. But a little bit later on, I actually want to add a balcony to the front here, which is why I want to build the entrance to the basement in the rear. And here's our trusty dogs, Terra and Luna. All right, it's daytime again, and I absolutely love falling leaves. This is one of my favorite mods. It really makes the forest feel like it's alive. Perfect, yeah, this leads straight into the basement. So I'm not really quite sure where I got the idea for this basement from, or this sort of style of architecture, but I really like the idea of having this exterior staircase that starts here, kind of goes down, and then wraps right into the basement. It's gonna look really cool. I really love having like these little, I don't know what the words are, maybe a mezzanine or something. I'm trying to think of the words here. But I love the idea of having just an exterior staircase that leads into the basement. I think that'd be so much fun. So we'll kind of have to redo some of these bits here, but kind of my vision for this is there's just a little staircase that leads down, and then I'll figure out a way to arch this into the basement here. So I actually had a lot of these cliffstone cobbles left over, so what I'm going to actually do is turn these into like a basic little slope that we can use since I ran out of stairs. Perfect. That digs straight into the basement here. So my vision for this is I actually want a really sloped and gradual little staircase. So what I'm going to actually do is I got rid of the stairs, and I'm going to actually use limestone slabs instead, just so we can experiment around with these a little bit. That way we can have a nice gradual staircase all the way up here. And after we're done with the tavern, I actually want to start heading off towards the ocean because I haven't quite reached it yet. So I'm really curious to see how that looks. Yeah, I feel like using slabs instead of just regular stair blocks is it's gonna take a little bit more time, but I feel like it's worth it. And I've gotten a lot of comments from people saying that this mod pack really reminds them of Vintage Story. And I've never actually played Vintage Story, so I'm curious to hear if you guys would be interested in seeing me give it a try or play through it. There we go. Now we have a nice archway here. Let's throw in some torches. There we go. Now we have a basic little staircase down. It's a little bit more gradual than it being just stairs. So I feel like it looks a lot better. And let's actually replace these blocks as well. Perfect. I really think this is going to be kind of cool. And I want a nice archway right there. All right, so let's throw in a tall reinforced oak door. I feel like this honestly looks like the perfect basement door here. And then this is such a random little detail, but since this is just open air right here, I think it'd be kind of nice if we threw in like a little archway like this. And my idea behind this is going to be like a little bit of a drain. So that way when it rains, it actually can drain out instead of flooding our basement here. I think that's just kind of a cool little detail we can throw in here. And let's do the same thing right here. I think that's just a fun little detail we can throw in there. And it really kind of just adds to the aesthetic of everything. Let's step inside the basement here. This part's a little bit awkward, but we can kind of fix that later if we need to. So yeah, that's the only downside of not planning out your builds, is sometimes things don't line up, but it's usually not that big of a deal to fix it. So I think we can give our archway like a little bit of a gradient like that. Just one of the benefits of Conquest Reforged is we can kind of have it go from this to this to this, so then it's flush with the door, which I kind of like. It's such a random detail, but I would really like to add wooden pillars down here as well. So we're gonna have to actually cut out some of these archways, but I think it's gonna really sell the look of the basement that I'm going for here. So in order to do that, I'm just gonna have to cut out some of these blocks like this. So one of the coolest things that Conquest Reforged adds is actually these beams that we can throw in. Whenever I think of a basement, I really think of something like this. Although it's a little bit awkward having the archway and the beam, but I kind of like it for some reason. I think for me, a lot of Minecraft is really just problem solving. That's what feels the most satisfying to me, is trying to figure out how to get all my ideas into one build. So I'm gonna actually reposition some of these beams. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of having the beams in here. I think it looks kind of cool. So we're gonna stick with them for now. But to help soften the look, let's actually take some of these slabs down one, replace them with singles instead of doubles. And I feel like it just makes sense having beams down here to support the tavern above us. But I'm still undecided if I want a beam running through the middle. But now we have a nice open space to fill it with chests and barrels, and I definitely want to put like huge wine casks in here. So we actually have plenty of these vertical slabs left over. So what we can do is we can actually fill in the wall here. And I feel like this makes the door blend in a little bit better. Another thing we can do is we can actually add another one of these archways and just kind of taper this wall inward like that. I feel like that helps blend the this door to the basement a lot better. Perfect. I'm really happy with how this basement is going. And then I want to blend these sides in a little bit. So we're replacing the doubles with singles. That way the columns have a little bit more space. And it also makes the walls look a little bit more interesting, is having these little cutouts and different shapes inside of them. Really, the fun part about Conquest Reforged is blending all the different blocks together. So in addition to new building blocks, Conquest Reforged also adds a lot of decorative blocks. So things like these cask barrels we can throw in here. Just different stuff I feel like you'd find in the basement of a tavern. We even have these stacks of crates that we can throw around. My goal with decorating the basement here is I want it to be really like almost dingy, I guess. I feel like you'd find a lot of these cloth covered crates down here, just all over the place. And basically my goal is just to fill in this basement with all kinds of food. I feel like there would just be tons and tons of wine on the bottom floor here. Maybe instead of the cask in the wall, we'll just do wine bottles like that instead. I really like how that looks. Yeah, that looks really, really cool. We could do a couple of these actually. Let's bring this in, fill it in with wine just like that. It actually looks really, really cool. I love the looks. I love all the connected textures that Conquest Reforged adds, and all the different crates that we can stack up everywhere. Let's actually move the press over here. And let's continue the theme of the wine racks on this side as well, just so there's nice balance in the build. Typically I don't balance my builds, but I think for the basement, it just kind of makes sense that they would have a lot of wine stored down here. And I also like these single block little gaps. Look really, really, yeah, perfect. Plenty of wine storage down here. Actually throw in some of these food crates as well. So the basement has a really nice cluttered feel, which is kind of the look I'm going for here. We even have some of these more like industrial looking crates that I want to throw in here as well. So I think I solved my little dilemma here of what to put on the roof here. I think I'm going to actually add these hanging jars and shelves just like this. I feel like that clutters up the space nicely. And I also found these nice curved racks of food here. Yeah, this is really, really cool. So what I'm going to actually do is take my banner here. So now what I would like to do is actually just throw the banner here. And now we have like a nice little hobbit hole that we can climb into that leads us from the bar directly to the basement here, which I really, really like. Now with the storeroom done, I actually want to turn my attention to the front of the build here. Specifically this area just to the left of the entrance, I think this would be the perfect spot for a balcony. So I don't really want the balcony to take up too much space. So for the balcony, I'm not quite sure what I want to do, but I want to bring out some spruce logs like this. Just a couple of blocks here, maybe right here. Supports that are going up. Bring this out one more block. So not only will the balcony be additional seating for our guests, but it'll also be a staircase up to the second floor. And kind of looking up here, you can actually see our watchtower. Maybe we can take a break from building for a little bit and go check out the watchtower. And while we're making our way to the watchtower, I kind of want to take a little bit of a look around and maybe look out for some spots that we can build a farm. It kind of makes sense that we would have a farm next to the tavern. I was thinking maybe up on this hillside here would be a nice little spot. It's nice and open. So some ideas for where I want to build a farm are maybe right here in this open little plot of land. I think this would be a fun spot for a farm. It has a nice change in elevation and it gives us plenty of space to plant everything. And I feel like it would just make sense that we have a farm right next to the tavern. With so many hungry guests stopping in for the night, you would need plenty of food to actually feed everybody. And thankfully, with all the zombies we've been killing in the woods, we have tons and tons of potatoes. And off in that direction, we even have a mine shaft that we haven't quite finished yet. So let's make our way to the top of the tower here. So in the last episode, I actually asked for some suggestions on what we should name the tower. And I think I'm going to go with the Bear's Den, which was suggested by my channel member Zuzu. So shout out to Zuzu. And if you guys are interested in seeing videos just like this before everyone else does, feel free to click the join button below or in the description so you can learn more about the Sexy Hair Club and all the benefits that it offers. Here we are at the top, and the top of the tower gives us just a beautiful view of the tavern down there. We can see the trail all the way to the mines, and we even have our house off in the distance. I think maybe a little bit later we can actually make our way back home. My kind of vision for this is I want to clear a trail from the tavern all the way to our home there because we haven't been home in quite a while. And then I do want to add a chimney to the home there because I want a nice little smokestack coming out. If you look down there, it's a little bit hard to see, but you can see smoke rising from the tavern. So I think it'd be cool if at each of our builds we had a campfire going. That way we could kind of see the smoke in the distance. But I really love this cozy little watchtower, and way off in the distance there's actually some islands that I really want to explore a little bit later. So after we finish our balcony, I want to actually go mining for some diamonds, get proper diamond gear, and then we can make our way towards the ocean and see what's on those islands that are out there. I am absolutely in love with the way that Lithosphere and Still Life generates terrain. This world really just feels so magical to me. So maybe to make the balcony look a little bit better, what I would actually like to do is add some of these wooden pillars, just like this. We have a nice pillar holding up the roof here. Thinking just do something like that. I really like the way that looks actually. And let's do the same on this side. Doesn't really quite make sense why there would be a pillar on this side so close to the wall, but I think we're gonna go for it. Yeah, for some reason that just kind of makes sense to me. Let's actually fill back in that dirt there. So on the second floor here, I'm thinking of just taking out this window right here. This will be our doorway to the balcony here. It's gonna be a small balcony, but I think it'll help break up the build and make it look a little bit nicer. And let's also get rid of these planks here. And I think I'm just gonna go for a simple oak floor here. So for the staircase up, I think I'm just gonna do something really basic like this. Just a nice simple set of stairs up. Doesn't have to be anything too crazy. I think a lot of Conquest Reforged is nuance. Sometimes you can use the new blocks, and then other times, you know, just simple staircases up does the job, so you don't have to overcomplicate your builds all the time. I think this is a nice, small little balcony here. Maybe I'll throw like a table or something up here that people can sit at and watch out over the gate. Now we have an alternative entrance into the tavern. If somebody doesn't want to go through the main entrance, just come on this side. Maybe let's actually extend this out one more block. Then we'll have additional room. So what I want to actually do is extend the balcony out just a little bit like this. Then to give it almost a curved little look, let's add vertical quarters like this, or quarter slabs I should say. And that gives our balcony almost a curved look here. And then to really complete this look, I'm going to take some quarter blocks here of our dark oak and just throw those in the corner like that. And now it looks like we have a nice curved little balcony here, which is really, really cool. This actually turned out way cooler than I thought it would. And then all we're gonna wanna do is take our fence, throw this just on the edges here. You can even do something like that. And then let's move the table and chairs. We almost have room for a double set of tables actually. So let's actually add a second table up here. Kind of awkward having the vine hanging down, but I feel like it looks really, really cool like this. Let's just throw a lantern right here above the door, and we're gonna have to actually add in a door. But what's really cool with these rustic fences is if we right click these posts in the middle, we can get rid of them, and now we have a much cleaner balcony sort of look here. Oh, actually I like the way those look. Let's do something like that. Perfect. Yeah, that looks so much cleaner. So I want to grab these yellow and red bunters, and we can just kind of throw these around the outside here. I feel like it's not a tavern unless we have these just kind of hanging around outside. Just gonna kind of throw them around like that. And I'm debating if we should have a roof on the balcony, but for now I kind of like how it looks. So what I want to do is actually fill in this little area in here. Now let's take the leaves that we got rid of and place these back down. There we go. Now we have a nice basic little balcony here. Honestly, kind of looking at it, I might go for dark oak for the floor instead of oak. I think that might actually look a lot better. Yeah, I think going for the dark oak floor is going to just look a lot better than what we had. Normally I like having variation in my blocks, but I feel like in this case it just kind of makes sense that we're going for this sort of look instead. Let's just kind of fill in the floor here. So kind of the weird thing about the dark oak is that there's not actually a slab for it, so we're just going to have to place the slabs down like that. Yeah, normally I like having variations in my builds, but I feel like this just makes more sense and it looks a lot better, it being all the same kind of wood, and it also matches the sides of the tavern here as well. So place down our slabs just like that. I'm debating if I want a roof on the balcony, but for now I'm quite happy with how it looks. Actually, what I think I want to do to make the balcony look a little bit better is add our leaves just kind of growing off the sides here. I think this will help it blend in just a little bit nicer. I feel like that looks a lot better actually. And then I'm not quite sure what I want to do underneath. Maybe we could do like a small little horse stable or something. I think that'd be kind of a cool idea. So for the stable idea, what I want to do is just add a little, cut out like a little pathway here. And then we also want to do a pathway from the staircase, basically leading down here. And then this we want to connect to the doorway here. Add some hitching posts just on the side here. Then there's some troughs for the horses to drink from. A water one here. Let's actually add the hitching posts in one block like that. Then you could hitch your horses here. Why not? We'll throw one over here too. Then we have a water trough and some feeding troughs here for them. I have a basic little stable here. I also want to add maybe like a pile of hay or something. Maybe instead of the troughs, we'll do that. So I was looking through some of the objects and I found these really cool hanging hay troughs that are from Believe. And I think these look really, really cool. Yeah, I really like the Believe mod. This is such a fun, it adds so many fun little objects to the game, like these little hay barrels here. And to really sell the look of this being a stable, I'm going to add some hay blocks here. Just kind of throw in blocks of hay, just kind of stacked around like that. Then I'm going to throw a pitchfork in here. I think that just kind of completes the look for me. Something like that I think really looks nice. Perfect. Now we have a basic little stable here with some hay for the horses to eat, like a little hitching station. And then once you're done hitching your horses up, you can climb upstairs, sit down here, maybe have a drink or two, and then you can head inside to one of the 3 bedrooms. All right, it's nighttime, so I think we're gonna head to bed here. And then in the morning, I want to actually head off to the mine and then get some diamond, and then we're gonna head off and see what's on those islands way out in the ocean there. I'm actually really excited to see what we have here, and I absolutely love how our little settlement looks at nighttime, especially with the trail leading all the way up to the watchtower. This world just looks absolutely stunning. Oh yeah, it's a beautiful new morning here in the world, and I'm really excited to actually go out and start exploring. I think for me, I like to split up my time between building and exploring. I think that's how I get the most enjoyment to playing. And it's kind of funny, I've been playing on this world for a couple of hours now, and I still don't have any diamond tools. I've just been using iron for the last few episodes, so I'm really excited to actually start using our mine. And thankfully in the last episode, we actually cleared out a nice little pathway from our tavern all the way to the mine. So it's really, really nice, and I think there's a lot more that I want to do to the pathway, but for now it's very functional. I like to sometimes leave projects like this unfinished so that way I can it gives me something to do later on when I maybe don't have any ideas for what I want to do. So it's kind of crazy is it's actually about a maybe 5-minute-ish walk from the tower all the way to our mine over here, which I really like. I love when my builds are spread out like this. It just makes exploring the world so much more fun. We still have we actually have plenty of limestone cobble still, and even a little bit of cobbled deep slate. In the last episode, I dug all the way down to diamond level, which is negative Y35. So one of the mods I have installed is called Diggus Maximus. And as you can see, it allows us to very quickly start strip mining through this deep slate cobble. And thankfully we are on negative Y35, so we should be running into diamonds here pretty quickly. So I'm just gonna start off with a simple tunnel like this and then start branching off on either direction. And then in theory, we should be running into diamonds by doing this. Looks like we did run into a amethyst, which is actually really, really cool. It sounds like there's some skulk sensors nearby too. But this is actually a really cool find. I'm a huge fan of amethysts, and now that we have this, we can start implementing it into our builds. We even have some budding crystals up there as well. I'm definitely gonna mark this down, but I'm just gonna go every couple of blocks and just strip mine my way down. And I think these might actually be diamonds here. There we go. We got our first diamonds. How many was that? Oh, perfect. We actually hit a 5 diamond vein right there. That's a really good start. Ideally, I kind of want to go for almost a full set of diamond gear, but I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to get that. But we'll see what we can do. But yeah, I think for the most part, I kind of want to just keep this series about the building. So eventually in this series, I do want to make my way to the Nether and eventually beat the game. And this will actually be the second time I've ended up beating Minecraft. So I'm actually really excited to do that. So we're gonna have to make our way back upstairs and make ourselves a diamond pickaxe here. So let's quickly deposit all our materials here. This is actually really cool. We have enough for a diamond pickaxe and a diamond sword. This will be really, really cool. And this will make mining so much easier. I'm really interested in actually beating the game on this world because I think it'd be so helpful to have an elytra, especially with how large this world is. Oh yeah, now we're not gonna have to worry about durability, especially with the diamond pickaxe. Be able to really quickly clear out a large space. So I'm really interested to hear if you guys would be interested in seeing me do like a complete playthrough where I end up beating the Ender Dragon and things like that. Or if I should just focus on building. That's one of those things where I'm not quite sure, so I'm really interested in everybody's feedback on that. But basically, I'm just gonna strip mine my way through negative Y35 here until I find more diamonds. But it should be really quick, especially with Diggus Maximus. This makes mining so much faster. And perfect, we're already finding more. And we found another 4 veiner, which is perfect. So it looks like we are in the deep dark, or at least we're in that kind of biome. So we have to be a little bit careful. Hopefully there's not any wardens. So we are setting off the skulk sensors, but hopefully we don't set off a shrieker because I really don't want to die after just finding it. So we'll have to be really, really careful. So ideally I want to actually get maybe a full set of diamond armor. That'd be really, really cool. So we just got the sneak 100 advancement. So it says sneak near a skulk sensor or warden to prevent it from detecting you, which is kind of interesting. So we're setting off the sensors, but there's no shriekers, thankfully. Otherwise that'd be really, really terrible. I think it'd actually be kind of cool to run into a deep dark city, just because then I could get some good enchanted gear. So one of the problems I'm actually having with this world is that I'm not able to find any villages nearby, but maybe as we make our way to the ocean, we'll be able to maybe find a village somewhere and then do some trades, because I really want to set up a villager trading hall. So I'm not really sure if you guys are interested in me actually showing me mining or not. I think for the most part, people enjoy this series because of the building, but we're starting to make pretty good progress, I feel like. We already found 12 additional diamonds. So we're doing pretty good. So actually vein mining is really taking my pickaxe down. So maybe I should stick with using like iron tools when I'm vein mining like this. But we are finding diamonds, so it's almost worth it, I feel like. I feel like negative Y35 might not be the right height for diamonds. I'm not too sure. I am playing on version 1.20.1, so maybe you guys could let me know on that one. But 32 diamonds, I think I'm fine with that. And my hunger is actually pretty low, so I want to go eat some of the pork chops that we have at the tavern. Yeah, it feels really good to finally have diamond gear after playing for a few hours here. Perfect. Now we're fully diamond out, which feels really, really cool. So I'm just going to throw my extra armor in the chest here, and I'm taking the diamonds with me, honestly. All right, let's make our way back to the tavern. So now that I have diamond gear, I feel more than safe to actually head out to the ocean. I feel like it's going to be at least a couple thousand blocks out, but I'm really excited to make the journey and see what's on those islands out there. I'm a little bit nervous to leave the safety of the tavern here, but it's good for character development, so we're gonna have to do it. All right, it's a nice stormy night here at the tavern, so we're gonna head to bed and then head off to the ocean. So I'm gonna bring the 10 cooked pork chop we have left with us, as well as a bunch of torches here, just so we can make a nice little light up path here. And already we're finding some skeletons here, but not really too much of a problem with our diamond gear. Yeah, these woods are actually so dangerous, even during the day. But whenever I just walk through the woods, I really feel like I'm playing Skyrim or Oblivion. It's kind of weird to think that this is just Minecraft. And it's weird to think how far Minecraft has actually come in the last few years that it's been out. So I'm just gonna light my way all the way to the ocean here. In a previous video, I actually walked pretty far out and I hadn't hit the ocean yet. So I'm really curious to see how far it's gonna take us. But yeah, along the way, we're gonna have to fight a lot of skeletons like this, which is why I really wanted to have good gear. I'm not really even making a straight pathway. It's kind of a shame that with Still Life and with Lithosphere, villages don't really spawn in. I think it'd be really nice to run into some friendly villagers. So far, we've only run into pillagers, so it'd be really cool to run into a village and start making like a trading hall. So I've been walking for a solid 10 minutes, I feel like. You can see we're already a pretty far distance away, and you can see our watchtower way off there. And I feel like we're getting pretty close to the ocean. We got some zombies coming after us already. I think my favorite part about these woods is these nice clearings that we have. I think it'd be kind of cool to build a camp out here. I might clear out some of the grass while I'm here, but maybe like a tent, a campfire. That'd be so much fun. I think in retrospective, I actually should have built the tavern farther out. Oh, perfect, we found some pigs. Definitely want to grab these guys. Well, I actually recognize this terrain. I was here before. There's like this little hole in there here. Oh yeah, that's right. Spiders aren't hostile there. That like took me the longest time to realize that. I think eventually I do want to actually clear out a legitimate path from the tavern all the way to the ocean. I think with the help of the falling tree mod I have installed, that it would make it go by pretty fast, but it would still take a decent amount of time. Ultimately, my goal with this world is I do want it to be a long-term world, and I feel like the trick to having a long-term world is you have to give yourself like really big projects to work on. So as we're making our way to the ocean, I'd love to hear your guys' suggestions on what we should build when we get to the ocean. Should we build maybe like a cottage or maybe like a beach house? I think that'd be kind of cool. So far, I've been sticking to the medieval theme because I feel like it really complements Conquest Reforged, but I'm not totally opposed to building something more beachy, maybe modern. Usually whenever I play Minecraft, I don't really, I just kind of build how I'm feeling at the time. So on my main world, which I may do more videos on if you guys are interested in seeing my main Minecraft world, my builds are kind of just like they're very fantasy-esque, but they don't all fit the same theme, if that makes sense. Here we go. I think I see a clearing. Pretty sure we're close to the ocean now. And here we are. We finally hit the ocean. Wow. Yeah, that was a solid, I would say at least 20 minutes of walking to get to the ocean. It's kind of crazy how big this world actually is. You can see the islands way off in the distance there. It feels so cool to hit the ocean. We've been seeing it on the horizon for so long. It's actually really fun that we made the trek out here. And way off in the distance, you can see the watchtower there. It's actually so cool. It's kind of cheesy, but in real life, I live in a kind of a beach town. So we go to the beach pretty often in my hometown here. So it's cool we finally hit it in the in Minecraft here. So unfortunately, the sun is starting to set. We might actually have to camp out here for the night because I don't really want to walk through the woods at nighttime. But I'm really curious to see if we can make our way towards these islands because I've been seeing them from the watchtower for the longest time. And I'm really curious what's on. The world looks absolutely stunning during this time of day when the sun is just about to set. So as I was making my way towards the islands, I actually found some sheep out here. So thankfully I did bring some iron, but we're gonna have to actually chop down some trees so that way we can actually make shears. So we can make them here. Actually, no, we don't need to. Let's just shear the sheep while we're here. For some reason, I thought shears took up 3 blocks, but they only take 2. Let's shear our sheep here. It's actually so dangerous to be out here in the woods at nighttime. I can already see creepers like spawning in. Oh yeah, here comes some zombies. So I'm just gonna quickly shear our sheep, chop down a tree, and then maybe make a bed or a boat. I'm not really sure which one. This is so funny. This is exactly why I wanted to have a full set of gear here, because I'm not exactly like the best Minecraft player of all time. So at least I'm not the best like combat player. Actually, wait a second. Is this a boat? Okay, actually this is perfect. We found a shipwreck here. Let's cut ourselves in here. All right, at least we have a little bit of a, I guess a temporary home here. Wait, this is kind of cool. So we have like a capsized ship that washed up on the shore here. This is going to be our temporary home, at least for a little bit. So we cleared out some sand. Let's see what's in the chest. Hopefully it's something kind of cool. Ooh, holy crap. This is actually perfect. We have a ton of iron and even gold ingots as well, which is kind of nice. I think this is a good temporary home. I was kind of thinking, oh, maybe we could set up a camp out here, but this works actually just fine. So we're going to stick with this. Oh yeah, we are totally living the nomad lifestyle right now. Staying the night in a basically busted ship here. But I think it's kind of nice actually. It's kind of charming. So let's spend the night here. The good thing is we have a nice little bed and we even have a chest here so we can store some stuff temporarily. So what I want to do is build a boat and sail out to that island there. So we actually have a shipwreck over here. So let's check this out. But this is the island we've been seeing from our watchtower. And it's been crazy. It's been a crazy journey just to get to it. But let's see what's on this shipwreck while we're out here. I haven't seen any villages so far, which is really a shame, but I can't really complain. Right, let's quickly see what's in this chest. We actually got some TNT and some unbreaking leather pants and boots. These are actually really cool. But I also saw in this chest there might have been moss, so we're gonna grab that. The cool thing with moss is we can actually grow an infinite number of moss, or we can farm an infinite number of moss just by bone mealing moss while it's next to stone. So that's actually kind of a cool find. Moss is a fantastic decorative block. All right, let's sail our way to that island. This is kind of a weird comparison, but this shade of water really reminds me of like Super Mario Sunshine. I don't know. You can definitely tell I'm recording this video at like 3 in the morning after I just got off work. All right, we finally made it to the island. It's kind of crazy. The view is breathtaking. You can see our mountains way off there. That's where our home is. And looks like more shipwrecks as well. It's kind of like a shipwreck island. And if you guys have any name suggestions for this island, let me know in a comment. I feel like this is sort of a landmark in this world. So here it is, that island we've been seeing from our watchtower. It's cool that we're finally here. But unfortunately, it looks like there's not really a whole lot going on here. It's just some trees and a whole lot of sand. So actually way off in the distance here, I noticed a pillager camp. I'm feeling pretty confident, so I'm gonna go up there and say hello to the pillagers. Actually, maybe not, never mind. There's a vindicator over there. Never mind. I really don't feel like dying this far away from home. So we'll leave the pillagers be, unless I can think of a way to cheese the vindicator. But for now, let's take a look at this shipwreck. This seems a lot less dangerous. So lots of shipwrecks. Ooh, we found a smithing template. Suspicious stew. I'm gonna take the potatoes with me because those are always nice, as well as the suspicious stew. So it looks like just off the shipwreck here, there's actually a ocean monument. Or the ocean ruins here in the shaders look so cool. This looks absolutely incredible with the shaders. All right, we gotta watch out for tridents here. I'm gonna actually put a door down right here. That way we have a breathing block here. Let's see, maybe we'll get something kind of cool. Maybe a trident or something. That would be really awesome to find. We found a fishing rod. That's actually really nice. Bunch of coal as well. Yeah, the water in the bliss shaders looks so freaking cool. I love this. I wish it wasn't so dangerous. I'd actually try and enjoy the view. Let's see what's in this chest. So another fishing rod. We found some wheat, which we can turn into bread, which is kind of nice. Other than that, I'm not really seeing a whole lot. I kind of want to take these blocks. These are really cool. So fancy stone columns, we're going to grab those. I think these are cool decorative blocks. And I also want to grab the lantern here. So we got some prismarine crystals here. All right, I'm just happy we're finding structures out here. All right, what do you guys think? Should we risk it? going after the pillagers here. Let's see. I gotta make sure I have a... Actually, you know what? We have a flint and steel and we have TNT. Maybe we could just blow them up. Wait, hold on. This is kind of genius. Let's see. We got the Vindicator right there. All right, we're leaving. We're leaving. This is so stupid. Okay, that didn't really do anything. We're gonna have to do a drive-by with our sword. Wait, hold on. Is this cheese? Oh, let's go. I have to resort to exploits in order to win. I have to use game-breaking exploits to kill Vindicators. All right, you know what? We're taking it. We take W's here. All right, we have a cozy little pillager camp here. And let's see what's in the chest. Oh, we got an additional name tag. Perfect. Now we can finally name Luna. All right, it's kind of stupid, but I want to eat the suspicious stew to celebrate here. We got night vision. Okay. Maybe I should have saved that, but I didn't know what we had. All right, I think we're just going to hang out at the pillager camp for tonight. This is a cozy little camp. I guess we could claim this as our home. We just got to light it up. So the pillager camp is part of a mod called Dungeons and Taverns. And we're gonna have to actually steal some wool, make a bed here. This is kind of nice. We have a nice little tent here that we can sleep in for the night. Perfect. All right. I feel like this was a good little expedition. Now it's time we head back home. It's gonna be a long journey, but I feel like it was kind of worth it to finally see what was out here. And I'd love to hear your guys' name suggestions for the island, as well as what build ideas you guys have, because again, we have such a massive world that I have so many I love hearing everybody's ideas because we have so much space to fill out. So this is really, really cool. All right, here we are back on the mainland, and it's time we finally head back home. I think this will be perfect. By the time we get home, it'll be nighttime. We can follow those torches that we laid down here. What's kind of crazy is this world is so large that I kind of have to look off in the distance at the tower to sort of keep track of where I'm going. So it's kind of cool. The tower almost acts as a landmark for me to follow when I'm lost in the woods. That's kind of one of the main reasons I wanted to build the tower, was so that way I'd have a landmark. All right, the skeletons are fighting each other, but maybe I'll have to light it up even more. But this is perfect. It's turning nighttime, and I can't think of a more welcome sight than the tavern when we eventually run into it here. I feel like we had a pretty solid adventure. Again, the woods are so dangerous. I'm actually really thankful I laid out these torches, otherwise I wouldn't really know where I was going. Here we are, back home. The tavern really is such a welcome sight, especially after a long journey through the woods. This is going to be really, really nice to just relax. Oh, especially you just hang out by the bar, throw down your sword, grab some drinks, or relax by the fireplace. This is really, really nice. I'm going to go upstairs and quickly sleep so I can set my bed back. So down here in the basement, what I actually want to start doing is kind of creating like a little offshoot. Because the storage room here is mainly for decoration, but I want to actually start building a storage room that's for actually storing stuff. So just chests and things. It's going to be kind of ugly, but totally necessary, especially as we continue to play the world and keep getting more and more materials. I was never one to build like automatic sortings or anything. I just kind of double stack chests. That's kind of my go-to. So I think this room is really going to be bare bones. So I'm just going to do something like this. Just have chests in here, nothing too crazy. And then I'm just gonna kind of cover it up with a door or something. It's gonna be an ugly storage room, but it's gonna be functional, which is what I'm looking for. So I think in this first chest here, I'm gonna just throw all of my specialty items, extra tools, extra gear, kind of valuables, I guess. That's what I'm thinking for this one. And now that we have another name tag, we can finally name Luna. So thank you so much, Evelyn, for the dog name suggestion, Luna. I really appreciate it. So Luna and Terra, perfect. So it's kind of nice with this tavern here. I feel like it's a nice blend of aesthetics as well as function. So this side with all these chests is just going to be purely function. Then on this side is obviously all the aesthetics. Then I think in this chest I want to just throw in all my food storage here. And then these additional chests I can just fill with building blocks. So I kind of found like a way to sort of hide this entrance. You just sort of have to sneak through this little like hobbit hole that I dug in here. I feel like this is a nice effective little storage room. Plenty of storage for whatever we want to put in here. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. I appreciate you subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.